Alright, hey everyone. It's a second full day here at the Ten Nations. We've been continuing our work here on the farm. And they do actually farm a lot more than all of us here, we found out. Apricots, dates, apples, figs, along with many herbs and spices and all kinds of other things too. They are, in a lot of ways, self-sufficient, which is amazing to see. We had a tour of their water cistern system. We've seen their solar power system. It's absolutely incredible. A sight to behold, certainly, for any engineering nerds out there. So yeah, I do want to talk about that work a little bit that we've been doing. A lot of it's been pretty heavy manual labor. Literally picking up rocks from one place and then moving them to another place. This is work that in America, even if you've done it before, and I've moved lots of land and earth before, but we do it with tools, right? We use backhoes, we use bobcats, we have power tools to do these sorts of things. Well, up here at the Ten Nations, we don't have access to most of those tools. So we have to do this work mainly by hand. We do have a tractor that can tow the rocks long distance through a trailer. But actually getting the rocks up and moving them around, that's by hand. And we're moving them to the area, like I said last time, for the rock garden. And one of the things our host has told us, this is an area that we need to level out. And what he says is, make flat. And for me, the process of picking up these stones, moving them from one place to another, has been a bit of a meditative experience, a bit of a spiritual meditative experience for me, where I've been able to reflect and to think on what I've seen here in the Holy Land. And through that, my mantra, the thing that I repeated in my head, has been make flat. I pick the rock, I move it from here to there, and I say make flat. So now I want you guys to hear from Alanna and Diana, who have also been in a time of deep reflection here at the Ten Nations. They had some realizations that I think have been percolating here. Really, the Ten Nations is a place that allows for that deep reflection, I think, if you're willing to engage and let it.
So this is probably the biggest piece of this trip that I was worried about and that I was most uncomfortable with. I grew up on a dairy farm, but I learned early on that I did not want to be a farmer, and I was a Girl Scout and I went camping, but like, you know, running water, air conditioning, fewer bugs is all very much my jam. So we got here, I guess, Tuesday night? Whatever night? The days are blurring together. But we got here and sort of, you know, we were dropped off seemingly in the middle of the desert and had to like climb over a little hill with our stuff and like walkaways and go uphill. And I definitely had this moment where I just was like, okay, well, how do I get out of here? How do I like leave and go like use that emergency credit card and just go like stay in Jerusalem because I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. That might have been when we weren't sure where the bathrooms were. But, you know, made it through. First night was a little rough. We get a lot of light from the settlements around. For a place that's not allowed to have electricity, it's really bright here at night because of the settlements that are basically just surrounding Ten Nations. And the dogs are barking, and it's sort of the dogs here at the farm are barking at the outside dogs, and they're barking, you know, dogs are dogs. But then we kind of got through our first day, and it's something, and hearing the full story, which I had heard parts of before, but it's such a special, meaningful place for this family that's been here, you know, for 100 years, and just wants to eke out a living from the land. And that's no different from what my family's been doing in upstate New York, Western New York, for, you know, almost the same amount of time. Like, I think that I've always thought that in order to farm, it really has to be in your blood. Like, the land has to be in your blood. You have to be willing to do so many things and be, you know, so many things are beyond your control. You can't deal with weather. You don't know when prices of fuel and seed and all those sorts of things are going to go up. You don't know when an animal is going to die. You can just do your best to try to do that and hold on to that. And that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to do their best to keep this part of themselves, this part of their family alive, you know? And, like, who are these people to tell them they can't do that? It's just so sad, you know, but also so hopeful. And Amal, one of our hosts, her name means hope, which is like perfect. Like, they're just trying to keep this hope alive and do what's in their blood, and this land is in their blood, and, you know, that's it. That's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to live and do that.
So we've been at the Tent of Nations, and both Dan and Diana have talked about that a little bit. Something I was really interested in being here was their approach to nonviolence. I've done a lot of reading on the subject before, but it's really a different level to meet people that are really living out the life, if you will. So we were able to talk to Amal last night, who is one of the family members that is here at Tent of Nations. And she talked a little bit about their approach and also how committed they are to that. But the thing I've been really struck by is, and not just her, we've heard this from our first tour guide, Kamal, and other people, was the way that she talked about terrorism. And that, you know, people here have 1,000 reasons to be violent, and that understanding that if you have terrorists in a situation, you need to ask what's going on around them. And that was just really interesting for me, coming from a human psychology point of view as a therapist, just because we don't do things, you know, that are irrational. Sure, there are the psychopaths that may do those things, but really kind of questioning what we think about people that are acting that way, and thinking about, you know, what's been taken from them. Have they been pushed to their limit? And really asking that question before we judge their violent actions. While it wouldn't be my choice, and while I want to work for a nonviolent solution, we also have to understand where the violence is coming from in order to get there.
Thanks, guys. So, we're here. Tent of Nations behind me. Now over here, settlements. Back behind my shoulder there is a school that we all legitimately thought was a jail. Walls, guards, barbed wire. And here at the Tent of Nations, no matter what the provocation is, no matter how many times people from the surrounding hills come and cut down hundreds of the olive trees and take them away and sell them for profit, what do the folks here do? Well, they just plant more olive trees, is what they do. And peace is like planting another olive tree, I think. So, we'll see you guys soon.